Dang it, man, I said hit me. Hit me! Fine. If you're not gonna hit me, I'm gonna hit you. Oh, right. This is Skystones' table, not a blackjack table. Ahoy, landlubbers. It's me, your valiant Captain Vasco, looking kinda silly. Back here in the game room, right where we left off. Anyone paying really close attention last time will notice that we still have, rather, yet again, we have doors locked here in the game room, which means more treasure is hidden here, as long as we are willing to repeatedly switch between Skylanders of various elements and break through. It is a rather tedious process, but it is a pretty good reward. So, you know what? I'm not going to complain. I'm going to point out that it's a little ridiculous, but I'm not going to complain. There's a slight but technical and significant difference. Alright, so hopefully you guys have been enjoying the ride so far. We got only a couple orders of business before taking off on our mission today. First of which is going to be picking up this treasure, and breaking through, I believe this is our newest barrier, the water barrier. That stands between us and our treasure. Boom, there we go, treasure. Okay, so here's how I think I'm going to divide this today. Rush is our Skylander who's closest to a new upgrade without going over, so I think he's going to get...
The flight time to our next destination is... Oh, we're actually here now.
Huh. I think that's a repeat one. I thought that they were different for every level. So, learn something new every day. But, like I was saying, gonna try and pick up enough treasure for Rush to get a new upgrade without having him hog it all. Which means trying to get... Come on, stay on target. No, I guess this means he's gonna be taking most of it. Alright, that should do. And then, I guess that... Yoshi will pick up the rest. Looking over, like, the amounts of upgrades I have and the amount of gold I have on my characters, I noticed that, that Meta Ridley and Yoshi are lagging a little bit behind in terms of, gold and upgrades, so we'll have to keep an eye on that in the near future. Luckily, we've got a full round of treasure lying around up here on the main deck, since Yoshi just got a bunch of that. Why don't we use our light core power to break open all these barrels? That should make this nice and quick.
Light core.
Oh, somehow I went back inside, without moving at all. So now I just lost a bunch of treasure. Haha! Terrifically programmed. That's fine, I didn't need it anyway. Who needs your stupid free treasure? But I do need to take care of something over here in this side of the ship. Man, I wish Meta Ridley was just a little bit faster. That's what we call foreshadowing, guys. Okay, so here's the Luck-O-Tron again, and we've had the experience wheel plugged in for a little while now, but I prefer the Wheel of Wealth, because it helps us achieve all those fancy upgrades that let us go faster and do things. But since we do have enough gold for a couple upgrades, let's take care of that before starting our next mission, which we shall do shortly. Hey, Persephone!
Ready for another magical upgrade?
Yes, let's upgrade. Okay, so, first order of business, thrusters. Thruster flight, to be specific. This is an interesting one, because it's not flight the way that most flying Skylanders work. Start with our annoyingly loud explosions. Now, check this out. So, like, normally, when you hit, like, the attack 3 button, is what I think we're calling it in canon now, with the Skylander who can fly, that Skylander sort of hovers in place and will move faster if you move the control stick. But with Drobot, you just press the button and he starts flying like rocket speed forward. It's sort of like how if you turn on a car, it just idles, it goes forward, even if you don't press on the gas, kind of like that. Anyway, like I said, it's weird. It'll be easier to explain when we're in a level. So, let's make our way towards that goal by moving to our next upgradable Skylander. Oh, I'm really looking forward to this one. Let me tell you what. So, since we have a little bit of extra money with Yoshi, we can go ahead and buy the Melon Fountain, which is basically his signature attack as far as I'm concerned. So, this is his attack 3 upgrade as well. This one's super easy to show off. Melons everywhere. It's just, like hours of entertainment. I could just do this forever. I don't know why. It's really amusing to me. And finally, since we went to the trouble of collecting that treasure for him, let's see what we can do for Rush. So, we've got 662, which will give us enough for Comet Slam, which is, incidentally, his attack 3. So let's see what that can do. I've actually talked just a little bit about this, but basically, you fly up in the air, you spin around, and then you land with, like, an explosive force. It's not the most amazing attack in the world, but it's nice to have. Anyway, that takes care of all of our business. Blah, 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 blah. It's gonna be one of those days, I can tell, guys. That takes care of all the business that we have to take care of here on the Dread Yacht today, which means that we can head on to the level for today. The 5th level, where, as you'll recall, we are in pursuit of a giant robot. Hinata's gonna be the first up on our roster today. But we might as well get this free treasure that's just, like, staring us in the face before we talk to Flynn. Terrific. What do you got to say, Captain?
Okay, I'm officially freezing here, and that means we've made it to the frozen wasteland. So you're ready to head down and find that robot?
Let's do this.
Radio! Let's get in the lander and think very warm thoughts. Do you think you could have parked your robot in a colder place?
Not a choice in the matter. Cursed thing is haunted. Kept yapping at me, so I got rid of it. It's safe enough. Only thing here are those foul ice ogres, but they're too mushy-headed to figure out how to use it anyway. But it's around here somewhere. You'll find him. That's the thing about giant robots. You always find them.
If only they'd give us a clue as to where it was.
Ah, that sounds great, and kind of weird. But I think the Skylander can handle this one. I'm gonna hang back and keep Callie warm.
Yeah, all that hot air ought to keep me nice and toasty.
Alright, landlubbers, welcome back. So, real quick, need to touch on something. So I recorded episodes 5 and 6 together. What you just saw was from the original recording. Everything after that got corrupted and lost somehow. So the next episode was actually recorded before what you're going to see today, which means that levels and gold totals are going to be wonky, but basically everything else is going to be on the level. So that's just full disclosure, that's why that happened. If you're like, how come everyone's higher levels all of a sudden? That's why, and I can't do anything to fix it, unfortunately. Skylanders doesn't work that way. So hopefully you guys understand that I'm trying my best here. So in that effort, we're going to start collecting collectibles. And the first step in this level, that's one heck of a bounce. Can't quite get onto that ship, but I can get pretty close. Alright, so you go left immediately from start, you'll find yourself a fair quantity of money and a snowman. Now, if you're the kind of person who likes trophies and achievements and whatnot, that type of video game thing, you're going to want to destroy all the snowmen that you see in this level, because there is an achievement for that. But the real purpose in coming down here is to grab this bomb and throw it over there. Now, that's not useful just yet, because we can't actually go over there, but we'll be revisiting that later. For now, let's actually start playing the level, shall we? Man, that bounce pad is weird. Trying to get back up here is always a big hassle. Here's snowman number 2. I think you have to destroy 5 snowmen. As you can see, there's 3 up ahead, just a little ways, so it's not actually that hard to accomplish. Frigid Chompies. These guys are super annoying. You may remember from episode 0, if you were inclined to watch the heroic challenges, that they can freeze you if they get close and have a chance to attack.
That was really nice of you. Most people just ignore me. I think because they are afraid of ghosts. I don't mean to bother anyone. I'm just cold and lonely out here. I used to live inside a giant robot. You might even say I was the giant robot. But I was abandoned. Want to see it? Come on, this way.
Of course I want to see it. That sounds totally sweet. I love Machine Ghost. He's such a sweet character. For some reason, he reminds me of the character Astral from Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal, if any of you watch that show. It's just something about the way he talks. It just reminds me of him. So, That may be part of why I like him.
Is strong with magic.
But honestly, he's just a very like nice and relatable character. There's something about him that just makes me want to be friends with him immediately. So yeah, right here we've got ourselves a magic gate, and basically the simplest block puzzle in the entire universe. Once you solve it, you clear a path up to what are these things? I've never really noticed these before. They're just sort of like glowing. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Well, now I'm a bottle, so I guess that happened. Oh, and now I'm not. Anyway, like I was saying, there's a hat here. What's in the box? Why, it's a Jive 70s entrepreneur hat. Or for those of you who don't understand what I'm trying to say, simply a purple fedora. Yes, I would like to put it on now.
Wonderful.
Seems a shame to cut a hole in such a fine piece of 70s fashion in order to poke the ponytail at the top, but I still like the way it looks on Hinata.
Skylanders of the water element are stronger in this.
Yep. Okay, so this level has a bunch of these returning from the last game.
A giant ice block. Understandable, as it is very cold.
No, not so much the ice block, but this.
But you can melt it. Watch this. Now just rotate the crystal using that lever. You're going to love this.
Yeah, so like these were pretty commonplace in the last game, these types of laser puzzles where you'd have to align them correctly in various places. Start off with a real simple one here. Just point it in this direction and it melts the ice block, freeing up the path ahead. Oh my god, it's a biclops!
Doing? That block you melted was for the great evil Ice Master! Oh, you'll pay for this!
Uh-oh. We've upset Noodles. The ice ogres think my robot body is their new master ever since I was left here in the cold. It's not evil, or anything, really. Noodles is just crazy.
Oh, Noodles. What a kidder. But yeah, I suppose it makes sense for him to be leading all these, Snowclopses, because he's, you know, in the land of Cyclopses, the two-eyed man is king, I suppose. Now, I think I can actually make use of special skill of one of my Skylanders right here. We're in an air area, so why not call on Falco and see just how far the light core power reaches. Well, it did just kill everyone, so that's effective.
Now you're gonna destroy snowmen too? Those were also for the great evil Ice Master! Call it all Snowclopsies! Teach this ice-melting snowman breaker a lesson!
Oh, Snowclops CCCs! I've been struggling this whole time, trying to figure out what the plural of Cyclops is. And luckily, we've got a Biclops to give us the answer. So that's pretty conveniently timed. I guess they're pretty mad. They're even sending reinforcements to try and catch up with us.
Now you've gone too far! When the great evil Ice Master rises again, you will be punished! You just wait!
Sounds like this great evil Ice Master of his might be friends with Linus's Great Pumpkin. At least the way they talk about him. So now you're gonna, once you beat all the snowmen and the Snowclop CCs and all that, you're gonna want to jump down here, because that is where this Lucky Wheel that we uncovered earlier is. And this is the only way to pick it up. Just come down here. So there you go. Woo! So yeah, Lucky Wheel of Experience. It's our second one. So if we were inclined to spend money on a Lucky Wheel, or a Luck-O-Tron bulb, excuse me, for the Luck-O-Tron, then we'd be able to get double bonus experience opportunities. Or however you want to put that. Basically, more experience. Do I need to push this forward or move the laser? There we go. That's the one.
Nice.
So yeah, again, these puzzles are pretty simple. It's simply line up one or two pieces in the right place and open the path forward. Not even sure you guys really need me to tell you how to do them. But I am here, so I might as well. Right, so we got a story scroll here. It's not exactly hidden, but be sure to be on the lookout for it on the left side of the path once you start encountering these lasers. Now, let's see what it has to tell us.
While Arkeyans tend to remember things above and to the side of them, they have a hard time with things physically below them. Odd as that may seem, it does explain why they generally avoid burying the treasure they acquire. Those who do place treasure in spots requiring a drop in elevation almost always forget about it.
See, I like this story scroll because it sort of combines the new type of story scroll that tells you something about the game and the old type of story scroll that tells you something about the world the game is set in. So it tells us something about how Arkeyans deal with treasure and tells us something that we'll want to keep in mind for later in the game. For now, we get a strangely maniacal laugh from our bird friend, and if you pay close attention, there's actually more path here beyond the story scroll, hiding even more collectibles. So let's clear that path and see what we're going to find. Boing. Of course, we'll need the help of a giant, which is why I switched. But we also had to clear the boulder from the top path as well. Alright. What do we got? Ooh, more treasure. Yeah, the one nice thing about being forced to replay this is that I get basically some free treasure. It can be difficult to collect all the treasure you want to get before the later levels in the game, especially when dealing with so many characters. It's kind of strange that they set it up that way. Like, personally, I would expect most people to like want to be playing with like a full elemental set of Skylanders, if not more so. But I think the way this game is designed, and the last one for that matter, is to have people just playing levels over and over again, which works and is fine, but I don't know. I prefer a sort of self-contained method, if it makes any sense to anyone watching this. I like for the games to have, or the levels rather, to have replay value, to make you want to play them again. Ooh, a new enemy type. He's also something of a cyclops. Now, it's of the... If you're going for collectibles, it's very important not to attack him. Seems strange, but we're gonna deal with him once we've fought all these cyclops, snowclops CCs. Fantastic, we've got to level up, and we introduce an upgrade to the armored, the Mohawk Cyclops. Sorry, the armored Cyclops. Basically works the same way, at least in terms of their attack. They simply have armor, just like the armored Chompies, and what are the other ones we've met so far? The armored archers. In any case, it's the same concept. It's just sort of like they take a few more hits, take a little bit more damage before you can actually defeat them. But there you go. Here's our legendary treasure for the level, the floral reef paint job. Now, the trick to this is that you can't defeat the Bag-O-Boom until you've grabbed one of his bombs, and the only way to do that is you have to lure him into attacking you, then dodge the actual explosion from his bomb, and it will explode into the troll bombs that you can pick up for yourself. Then, once you've got the bomb that you need to blow up that building, and you do need the bomb. I've tried with giant strength on more than one occasion, and it is not enough. So just to prove the point, he's going to throw the bomb at me. It explodes, becomes a thing we can pick up, and you just have to take it through the teleporter that was hiding under some jars over here. But he's actually a pretty easy enemy to defeat, especially once you understand that you can use his own attack against him. But it does let them do interesting things like hide treasure. It took me a long time to find that one personally. Wouldn't be surprised if other people watching this were having trouble finding that for themselves. But yeah, most of the level is beyond and to the left, but first, of course, we're going to be looking for some treasure and such over here. I suppose we might as well switch to a Fire Skylander, because we're going to want to get inside. But anytime there's a character hanging outside an elemental gate, you know they have to say something interesting, right?
Cold enough for you out here? Well, I've got just the perfect spot for you to warm up in. I think you'll find it a pleasant change of pace from this icy, frozen freeze place. Ugh. And if you're looking for a new hat, You might just find one in here, too.
Now, fun fact, I think it's really interesting the way that they've set up the camera angles. So, like, when you talk to these characters, the camera always, like, shifts to point towards where the hat is so that you'll find the hat when you're playing through the first time. But then when you go back and play these levels for any reason... Enfuego Chompy. Yeah, this is the fire counterpart to the, Jeez, what were they called? The Frost Chompies? I don't know, I just sort of think of them as Ice Chompies, but I forget their specific name. And Enfuego Chompies I remember because they're like the first Skystone that you pick up in the game, which incidentally I haven't really touched on, but may have been obvious to people who have been paying attention, that all of the Skystones are actually based off of enemies within the game. So, for example, Enfuego Chompy is an enemy we just met, but Enfuego Chompy is also a type of Skystone. So, in case you didn't know about that, that's maybe a fun fact for you. Now, there's actually a fair number of branching pathways here in this elemental gate. I find the best way to work through things is sort of from left to right. So stay as left as you possibly can while falling down these cliffs, and you'll come across this gentleman.
Did I mention this place also has a world-class Skystones player? Me!
Oh, I see. You want to play me at Skystones. Challenge accepted!
Great! Then let's get started.
Yeah, this is the same guy that we met at the entrance. And our set of Skystones looks pretty good. Let's just check the preview.
Stones, it's a good idea to get a preview of the board you're about to play.
That's awesome. I'm super glad that I've done this. Alright, so there's a fire space on the board, but as I've said in the past, I think that there's, you know, something to be said for not paying a huge amount of attention to them, because you can often force your opponent to waste one of their stones on that slot, and then, you know, it's just as good as you stealing one of their stones when that happens. So let's just take on the challenge with this set of perfectly good Skystones.
Mace Major.
It's a pretty solid start there. Don't really have anyone who can take on two blades. So, what's my strategy going to be then? I suppose if I place... It's probably going to be placing one of these two stones. Which do I have less of? Things pointing up or down? I have the same amount. Both of them have their second set of blades going off to the left. I don't know. I think I'm going to take the other corner, see how he responds to that.
Chompy.
Okay, Chompy's not too hard to deal with. Guess I'll play this guy. He's very likely to be captured, unfortunately. But I'll have a guy who can't be captured, which is nice. Okay. Yes. I think I like where this is going. So place this below, steal back our character. Now we'll have a couple that can't be stolen, and we'll see how he plays. Ah, perfect. Playing low gives us an extra advantage because both of these stones can capture from above. Let's use the Inhuman Shield.
Inhuman Shield.
And now he doesn't stand a ghost of a chance. Ooh. Even though he did save his elemental stone for the appropriate turn, we still managed to pull things out and win this game of Skystone. So what do we get as our reward?
Stone collected.
Hey, not bad. We'll have to play again sometime.
Alright, so we picked up his Boom Fiend stone. Boom Fiend's actually a pretty good one. It's one I was definitely using for a lot of my initial playthrough of the game, although I imagine there's actually not a whole lot of variety to that because the game sort of like leads you in a certain path. As long as you're playing through all the games of Skystones, you're gonna keep picking up the same ones no matter how many times you play through the game, which is something that I could see them improving in future games if they decide to continue with Skystones, which I'll be curious to see if they do. Alright, over here, once you drop down the furthest you can on the next path, one over to the right, if you can see what I'm getting at. Like, we went all the way to the left, hit a dead end, went up, took the next path right, took it all the way down, and all the way over here is this treasure chest, which I'll give to Rush. That's sweet. I don't ever remember noticing that, I mean, they've always had sort of like a variety of different treasure images in in the last game and this one. I never noticed the heart before. That one looks kind of cool. Right, so once again we've got ourselves at sort of a dead end on the left. There's a path over here to the right, but we can't actually quite do anything there yet until we go up and over. So here there's some Enfuego Chompies from above who are probably going to try their best to ambush us, but they're no match for man's best Skylander friend. So now that they're taken care of, clear this path right here. Now there's a couple of big stone blocks here. We can actually push them down to the next level below, but that'll actually just get in our way. So the actual reason for being up here is simply to push this crystal down one level. The blocks will do nothing to help us and will probably just slow us down. So now that that's taken care of, we can jump down, and this is the path that I said we couldn't do anything on before. So what we have to do is solve another one of these laser puzzles. I think this is the most complex one that we deal with here in this level. I always forget exactly how this one works. I guess this goes up. Yeah, so what ends up happening if you don't... Jeez, I do not remember. It's been a while since I practiced this because I had not expected to need to play it again. But we will soldier on. So, yes, I think I need to push this one left. Yes, but if you push those stone blocks down from the level above, then there's just sort of more blocks in the way and you need to move them around, and it's just a bit of a hassle. It's not a huge problem. Like, it doesn't make it so you can't solve this puzzle or anything like that, but it's pretty annoying, in the very least. Yes, so we'll push this one up so it's out of the way. And then I think we simply need to push this one down so that we can complete the path of the laser. And it will take us somewhere else. What will we find? Oh, more Enfuego Chompies. Oh, and a proper ambush. One that might be a little bit more difficult, in fact. Yes, this is gonna be tricky. So, we did encounter, like, an evil version of Sunburn in the last game, and that is, of course, who we're fighting now. It's a similar strategy that applies. He simply... I'm gonna switch characters here, because I want to... For some reason, I want to defeat this, Fire Skylander with a Water Skylander. So we'll see how a giant fares in this, but, might not actually be the best decision. So... the way this works is that, you know, Sunburn's going to be teleporting around trying to damage you that way, because he leaves like a fiery burst when he does that. And then, every now and then, he'll find himself in a position where he tries to attack with his flamethrower. I'm not entirely sure what causes that, but it does deal quite a bit of damage, so it's something to watch out for. Yeah, like I said, giants might not be the best call for this. I'm going to switch characters again. The reason I was trying to do that is that there's actually a set of achievements for each of the Skylanders characters, individually. I know I just said giants are a bad decision, but I am interested to see how Flint will fare. Of course, that's not such a good one. Yeah, the problem with the fire breath, for one, it is actually fairly difficult to dodge, and secondly, it deals quite a lot of damage pretty quickly. As you've no doubt noticed. Yeah, I'm gonna switch characters yet again. Initially, when I took on this challenge, I used Meta Ridley, and for one, the light core factor helps quite a bit. In this situation, it took our enemy out quite handily. But yeah, it's one of the nice things about light core characters, is that in a pinch they can make difficult situations much more manageable. I did happen to like the way this hat looked on him, so I think we'll keep it with him. We've got ourselves the Fireman's Hat. Firefighter Helmet. Shut up, I know what I'm talking about. It adds plus 20 critical hit, which I think is actually a pretty good bonus for Meta Ridley, who has like a high rate of attack with his rapid-fire lasers. So I think this is a good match. Plus, It just looks kind of cool on him, I think. I don't know if any of you guys play with your own Drobots. You should let me know what your favorite hat is for him. Anyway, that takes care of all the things we had any interest in doing in the fire. I don't think there's anything else of any real importance. I collected all of the treasure, so nothing else hidden there. Look, we've got ourselves a 6th snowman, just in case you missed one.
Ha! You fell right into my trap!
Oh no!
Well, except for the part where you destroyed my gift to the great evil Ice Master. Oh, now you're gonna pay for your mistake!
Yeah, but so, not only was there a snowman where we landed, there's also one in the background, if you're paying close attention. So there's plenty of opportunities to kill snowmen. Which I think is... Oh, geez. Those are very large axes. Oh, it's kind of hard to dodge both of them at the same time. There are some boom fiends here, which you... Or, not boom fiends, the bag of booms, which you can use to your advantage, in fact. If you dodge their bombs, you can throw the bombs right back at these giant axe guys. Oh, missed that one. Come on, hit me with your best shot. Alright, so once we dodge that, we can throw this bomb up at our friend and make him dead. I guess we're not very good friends in that case. Alright, so before we carry on, I think that for our first time, we're going to be calling on one of the Guardians that I introduced earlier. Alduin. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because, in fact, when I put together my team, I sort of left myself in the awkward position of not really having any exceptional flying Skylanders.
Crazy ogres. They've made a slippery ice bowl. They do that sometimes. Reminds me of something. Looks like you need to use your own slippery momentum to slide up to the top of the bowl.
Well, there you go, in case you didn't already gather it from our past experiences with sliding on the ice. You're sort of supposed to shift your momentum in such a way that you can navigate across the ice, but really flying is a much better method. For some reason, this area in particular gives me trouble with non-flying Skylanders, and even characters like Falco with his jetpack don't seem sufficient. So I decided that we're going to use a Guardian to make quick work of this section. So the first thing we're going to want to do is head back down over to here where we saw Noodles a moment ago and pick up a soul gem. In fact, a very important soul gem because it's for a Skylander on our team. And his attack is called Blowhard. It's while he's doing his belly flop sliding attack. You can press his primary attack button to launch like a wave of water and like exploding starfish out of his blowhole. It sounds kind of difficult to use, but I find it actually pretty useful. So it's a good one to pick up if you have the time and the money. However, we don't need to preview Thumpback because we're pretty well familiar with him. Now that we've taken care of that, it's time to go back to where we started and push this block over to the left. We'll want to move it further down later, but we can't do that without going back up into the ice bowl. In fact, they're pretty keen on making you go through these multiple times. It's kind of interesting to me, actually. I feel like they could have just made more level, but they were like, no, we'll just put everything like really close together, but make it really difficult to find. Right, so now that we've filled in this little gap here, we've got a treasure chest. But I think that should go to someone who fought hard today and maybe suffered a little.
It's crush hour.
Yeah, it certainly couldn't hurt to stockpile some more money for Flint.
Payday.
Yum. So much money. So much satisfying treasure. Alright, so once again we'll be going back up into the ice bowl, but before we leave, let's check out this room, which has a fair amount of treasure hidden inside, but also a familiar face. That's right. Wow, these jars down there are glitching. And now I can't hit them with my hammer for some reason. We're having a great time here in Glacier Gully. Another snowman, just in case you hadn't hit your quota just yet. What's the good news?
This cool, crisp air sure does wonders for the old lungs. Anything here tickle your fancy?
It's a weird way to ask that, but sure, let's check out what you got. propeller cap from the last game, as well as top hat, I believe. Got a couple of Skystones. Frigid Chompy 2, not great for 100. You could probably do better than just 2 blades on one side. It's pretty easy to steal that back. On the other hand, the Arkeyan Jester, if you happen to have an extra 800 gold lying around and like playing Skystones, it's a pretty strong one. It's got 3 on one side, 2 on 2 others, and just in case someone tries to sneak attack you with one blade, they're not going to get you even from the bottom. It's a good stone. We've also got the regeneration power-up and a Skystone cheat. I don't recall if we've seen these before. I think we haven't, but I'm not sure. Anyway, the Skystone cheat lets you skip one Skystone battle and instantly win, so that's kind of cool. Guess you could use this against Quigley, assuming these carry over between levels. I'm not entirely sure. Again, I sort of like to do these things for myself for the most part. Lock puzzle key we've obviously seen before, same with the fairy dust, so nothing terribly new here, but if you're interested in Skystones, this is a good one, and if you're collecting all the hats, well, you're probably going to be visiting all of Auric's shops anyway. Alright, so I think that's everything that we needed to look at here in this cave, so let's go back to our guardian friend, so that we can navigate that quirky ice bowl maze up top. And yeah, we'll be visiting a couple more times even back here at start. Can't hurt to blast all these walls out of the way, especially since we'll need that key later. Alright, that takes care of that. Let's blow up this wall as well. And look, a snowman! So here's another Bago-Boom, and up there at the top of the screen right now you can see another one of those like stone buildings that we needed his bombs to blow up before. The same is true here. You may want to try and save that until you visit this area of the level later in the level, but you can also blow up that building now. Of course, you are likely to blow up the Bago-Boom as well, and his experience probably won't last all the way till you get there. But, you know, it's not the biggest cost in the world if you just want to make sure he's not throwing bombs at you. Now, here's something that you're going to want to pick up. A winged sapphire. So the way this works is there's, like, basically, like, 3 intersecting bowls. The rightmost ice bowl in the lower right corner, you'll find the exit that leads you to the winged sapphire. And as I've said in the past, never sad to see a discount for the store. Because, you know, fully upgraded Skylanders are a pretty good thing. They, a little more resilient and, battle Chaos and his minions more effectively. So, nothing else to see in the ice bowls, really.
Magic elements are stronger in this zone.
Let's try a different character. Who haven't we seen today? Haven't seen Yoshi.
Fruit punch.
His sweet mariachi hat that we got in the last episode. We'll deal with this in a moment, because first we have some more pressing matters to attend to. For one, we have this key. And for 2, we have some angry cyclopses. It's actually a pretty small area to fight on, and we will be seeing a lot of enemies, so it might do you some good to keep an eye on what enemies are approaching from where, because can be pretty easy to get ganged up on here. And speaking of which, this Melon attack is quite good for attacking enemies when you're being swarmed. Of course, when the Melons just decide not to spawn for some reason, that makes it a little bit trickier. Alright, if everyone's going to attack me from one side, I have a couple tricks up my sleeve, including some explosive homing vines. May need to focus our attacks on the already weakened enemies, just to clear the way a bit. And of course, the Executioner there, big ol' axe guy. Well, looks like he's actually decided to help us out by swinging his axe amongst his friends. Maybe we're not the worst friends after all, taking out that one Bago-Boom. I mean, this guy's killing a whole bunch of his Cyclops friends. Maybe they owed him 5 pieces of gold like Flynn to those pirates. Alright, so here's something. If your Skylander is in need of some refreshment, it's best to grab these food items right away, because for some reason, if an enemy touches any of them in this section, the food instantly disappears. I'm not sure if that's a glitch or on purpose. Definitely seems strange to me, because I don't ever remember that happening at any other points in either this or Spyro's Adventure. But again, just pick them up as soon as you need them, because they might just randomly disappear if you end up needing them later. Nope. Yeah, if you do end up getting frozen by the Chompies, just press the action button repeatedly, which is why here on the Xbox 360, if you're playing on the same console that I am. Nope. And these executioners can be in real trouble. They are heavy hitters for sure. They don't actually have a ton of HP, which I think I touched on last time, but still, they're not an enemy to be taken lightly, especially with their ability to like disappear and reappear suddenly. You never know where they're going to attack from. So, hilariously, actually I started talking about this before and didn't quite finish. So, like, there's a lot of things where the game will try to point out something of importance to you in case it's your first time playing through the level, because at some point it will be. And there, the camera was focused on where I picked up the third of the 3 keys that we'll need, except that it's actually fairly difficult to handle that fight without picking up the key. So, almost every time I've done this fight, once I've completed it, the camera just sort of looks at the ground for a second and then lets you proceed. Right, now, time to take on this giant chain. And you know who else we haven't seen yet today?
I've got my eye.
Pegasus. So I guess he'll be the one to reel in this island, hook, line, and sinker. Now, he's really behind in the experience game. I guess we'll have to address that sooner rather than later.
Excellent.
To make up for it, why don't we give him this treasure chest? And look, we've found all the areas for this level. There aren't any that are terribly well hidden like some of the past levels where you sort of just have to wander into a sealed house just to sort of pick up something that isn't of importance. So it's a pretty straightforward one to find all the areas, but still, nice to have the game acknowledge that.
Hey, there it is. My body. Now we just have to unthaw me.
Oh, that's the giant robot.
Just use those energy beams. I'll keep an eye out for noodles.
I ain't worried about no noodles. Alright, so little quick speedrunner's tip. First, you're going to want to set this crystal into position there. Then, what you're going to want to do, first, have the laser point towards that crystal you just set up, and let it thaw through that first ice block. Then as soon as it's done, which you'll know because it starts hitting the block behind it, you'll want to move the laser over to there. And then, while that's happening, you're going to want to push the block that the laser was hitting just a moment ago to fill this gap. That way, the laser can freely hit that ice block once you rotate the laser yet again. This is the quickest way I've found to do this, and since the laser is something that takes a lot of time, if you're going to try and speedrun the level, that's a useful tip. At least I think so. Hopefully you agree with me. Here's just a little bit of extra treasure. And this was inside that little stone building that we blew up before with the Bago-Boom bomb. Bago-Bomb? Boom-a-bag? I don't know what I'm talking about. So, yeah, now that we've freed this path and sent the lasers up above, we can bounce up there and meet the giant robot formally. But can't really do that while he's still stuck in this block of ice. So one final, really simple laser puzzle.
Nice job. You activated my body. Now I'll just hop inside.
Master! Master! What have they done to you? It is I, Noodles, your humble servant! What are your evil wishes?
Well then.
Classic Noodles. Perfect. I now have complete control of my body again. It truly has been a pleasure being your friend. Are we friends now?
Well, here it is. I didn't know.
Have you come here to leave me again? Don't leave. I've been so lonely.
I don't want you near me, but these Skylanders need our help getting into the Arkeyan vault. So quit your belly aching and let's get to it.
Sounds good to me.
Anything to get out of the cold here. I can almost feel my brain freezing up.
Right, almost.
And there you have it. Glacier Gully completed. All of the goals achieved, except for one. The time goal, of course. Yeah, I don't understand why everyone's so mean to the Machine Ghost. I want to be his friend. He's just lonely. And he's not a bad guy like those other Arkeyans. I don't know what everyone's so hung up about. In any case, I'm glad that we've made a new giant robot friend. I do feel a little bad for Noodles, to be honest. He was just doing what he thought was right, following giant robot overlord. I mean, if you believed a giant robot was going to crush you if you didn't do stuff, you'd probably do it too, let's be honest. But yeah, I think that'll do for our visit to Glacier Gully. Let's see what the future holds.
It feels great to be back in my robot body again.
Ah, you're creeping me out. Where I come from, robots don't talk.
What?
But sir, we all talk. And I'm nothing to be afraid of. I only want to help my new best friends.
Now that all that's settled, can you take the Skylander to the Arkeyan vault before chaos gets there?
Yes, it will be a pleasure. As soon as the captain gives the word, we can go.
Alright guys, I think that's just about gonna do it for today. Luckily, all the between level things I took care of in the next episode, so we don't have to deal with me trying to explain something I can't show, which is something I always hate to do. I'm still collecting this treasure, just because, I'm just sort of compelled to. I'm not even actually doing it consciously. I am at this point, but I just sort of started doing it while I was talking. Again, I'm sorry for the little hiccup there where I lost my initial play of that level. Hopefully you still had fun watching, and hopefully I answered any questions you had if you were having trouble finding everything in that level. That's one I actually had some difficulty with, finding all the collectibles the first time. Those things hidden in the buildings threw me for a loop because I was expecting if they were destructible, and I definitely remember trying to break them open the first time playing because some of them are kind of conspicuous. But I figured since it's Skylanders Giants, if there was something that needed to be broken, a Giant could do it. When they couldn't, I got confused.
Anytime you're ready for what's next, you just come see the best pilot in all of Skylanders.
Who? What? Where do I go to find that guy? I'm confused. Gotta give me more than that to work with, Flynn. Right, so, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you are enjoying this series, and, again, I'm sorry for that, the hiccup. There's nothing more I can do than what I've done here today, and, hopefully this is just as good, if not better, than the original recording. Honestly, it was kind of a lame one. It was one of my worst efforts for Skylanders Giants. So hopefully this is a little better. Hopefully you had fun meeting our new friend, the Machine Ghost. Kind of curious why they didn't give him, like, a proper name. You know, there's so many characters who get real names. I mean, even Brock, who just shows up in one level and then sort of shows you stuff on the ship. I mean, at least Dreadbeard was in the last game, albeit briefly and in, like, a bonus level that wasn't necessarily part of the main game. Still strikes me as strange, because he's such a cool character. He's one of my favorites in the game. Certainly one of my two top favorites. Although, I think there is one character I like better than him. But I won't spoil that surprise.
According to my navigational systems and overall genius, I believe we have reached our destination.
Alright guys, I think that'll do it for today, and I hope that you guys are excited for the next episode as I am, and I'm going to keep doing my best to keep making the best series I can. So, see you guys for the future episodes, and I hope you have fun watching. If you do, please leave a like or something if you're really liking it, because that helps me out a ton. Alright? See you guys next time for more Skylanders Giants.